Hi, good evening, Marcus.
Hello.
Thank you so much for meeting with me today. And I really appreciate you taking this time to share your family experiences. My name is Ruiling, or you can call me Arlene, as you know. And I'm currently studying a resource consulting program at Seneca. And before we start, I'd like to review the purpose of our conversation. So I'll be asking questions about your family routines and Jaden, the 30-month-old son, strength and his needs based on your ASQ form. And by the way, thank you so much for filling up the ages and stages questionnaire form. And I'll be creating a written family narrative for my course. And I want to make sure that I'll tell the story with accuracy and respect. And as we discussed before, the interview will be recorded, but the camera will be focused on me, not on you. And only my instructor will see the video and your voice will be included. So my instructor can observe how I communicate. Does it still sound okay for you, Marcus?
Yes, that's okay.
Okay, thank you so much. And please know you can pause or skip any question. I want this conversation to feel comfortable for you. So when you're ready, we can begin.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, thank you. So to start, would you like to tell me a bit about your family and what daily life looks like?
Well, it's me, my wife, and Jaden. Mornings are our toughest time. Some days, Jaden wakes up cheerful, but other days he hides under his blanket because the light or sounds bother him, I guess. The blender, the kettle, he gets overwhelmed fast. And getting him dressed takes patience. Sometimes he runs away or curls up, and we have to go really slow.
Oh, it sounds like you're supporting a lot at once. So Jaden's sensitivities, morning routines, and to keep the whole family moving, right? So, what words would you use to describe Jaden? Like his personality, the way he approaches the world.
He's a sweet kid, sensitive, like I said, uh, and he's funny when he relaxes. He notices every detail, tiny detail, and he's very determined. And if he wants something lined up perfectly, he will keep trying until it's right. And he loves all sensory play.
That determination and attention to detail are wonderful strength, you know. And can you tell me about how he plays with things he loves? Like anything, like any toys or activities, as you mentioned?
He loves wheels the most. Cars, trucks, trains, anything. He lines them up in a perfect row. At home, he also play with cars, sometimes water, sand, and clay. He will scoop, pour, down, over and over. And at the park, he can stay in the sandbox for half an hour straight. And that's why after daycare, we take him outside because that helps him sleep better.
That sounds like sensory play really helps his body regulate. And are there moments or routines where you see him most calm or settled?
Yes, bath time. He relaxes in the warm water, and his little tent at home is dark and quiet inside. Sometimes he takes his cars in there and lets them out.
Oh, that sounds like a very important self-regulation space for him. So, then in terms of Jaden's strengths, what strengths in Jaden make you feel so proud? I believe there's a lot.
Yeah, well, uh, he keeps trying. Even when things are hard, he tries again and again. And he, he's been using more words lately. Not a lot, but more.
That's so much meaningful growth. And you've supporting him beautifully. So Marcus, thank you again for complete the ages and stages questionnaire for the 30 months about Jaden. And your input gives me a really clear picture of his strength and where we can support him further. And based on his 30-month ASQ results, most areas are like developing really well, which is good news um, and wonderful. The two areas where Jaden may need a bit more support right now seems like showing as a summary are communication and social interaction. Do you agree on that?
Yes.
Okay, if you're comfortable, and I'd like to ask you a few questions about what you're seeing at home and what educators have mentioned in the preschool room. I know he just joined the childcare preschool room. This will help me better understand Jaden's needs and building on his strengths. Does it sound okay for you?
Yes, of course. Whatever helps Jaden.
Oh, thank you so much. So at home, how does Jaden usually let you know what he wants or needs? Does he point and gesture or use sounds or single words or bring things to you?
Mostly he points. Sometimes he will pull my hand to what he wants. He doesn't use many words unless it's something he really likes.
Yeah, thank you, Marcus. That's helpful. And when he points or pulls your hand, does he also look toward you, or does he mostly focus on the objects instead?
He usually just looks at the object. And sometimes he will look at me, but mostly the object he wants to get.
Mm, okay. And when you call his name, how does he typically respond?
If he's really focused on his cars, he doesn't respond.
Makes sense.
And if he's not too busy, he might glance over.
That's very common and at his age, though. So when he does respond, what usually helps, like being closer to him, or gentle touch, or saying his name in a certain way, will help.
Getting closer helps. If I tap his shoulder or get in front of him, he will look at me.
Oh, that makes so much sense. But during the play, does he try to share things with you or with other his peers, or like bringing over a toy or showing you something he's excited about?
Not really. He likes to play beside us, but not really showing things.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. So with his favorite toys, like what you mentioned, like wheels, trucks, cars, trains, does he ever glance at you to check in or see your reaction?
Yeah. Sometimes he will look at me when he lines up his cars, like for a second. But then he goes back to what he's doing.
Mm. Oh, also, like, have the preschool educators mentioned anything about how Jaden communicates with them and during routines or transitions? Anything you would like to share?
They said he follows the routine, but doesn't really use words yet. They mentioned he points or waits for them to show him what to do.
Mhm. That's consistent with what you've noticed at home, just as you mentioned just now, right? Does their observation feel accurate to you?
Yes, exactly. That's what he does at home.
Mm, okay. So then, mentioning about home, at home, how does Jaden play around family members? Does he enjoy playing near others, or does he prefer exploring on his own instead?
He plays around us, but not really with us. He likes to do his thing.
Okay, but if you sit near him or like imitate what he's doing, does he let you join or does he move away?
He lets me sit
That's
there.
nice.
Sometimes he wants me to copy him for a second, but he keeps doing his own play.
Okay, that looks a very beautiful picture at home. So, how does he react when other children come close or try to join his play at home? Yeah, at home, sometimes you mentioned you take him to the park and also anything shared in daycare.
He usually ignores them. He glances over them. If they take his toy, he gets upset. But otherwise, he just continues.
That makes sense. And when he gets upset about a toy being touched, what helps him calm down? Like familiar toys, space, or have you nearby will help? I know you mentioned a little bit about sitting beside him. So would you like to give some more information on that?
Having me close absolutely helps. If I redirect him to another toy, he settles as well.
That makes sense, Marcus. So you mentioned that having you close really helps him calm down, and that redirecting him really settle him. So I'm curious, could you have a like recent moment when Jaden was upset or you help him settle, and what did that look like? And what did you say or what did you do to help him feel safe?
Sure. Now, I will tell you a story happened
Go
yesterday.
ahead.
Uh, Jaden has a younger cousin from my brother's side, and they came visit our house yesterday. His cousin was playing with his cars, and Jaden went over to grab one. I guess Jaden always play by himself, and the cars are his property. And the cousin got really upset and started screaming. Jaden also started screaming. I went over, get close to him, and said, "Hey, it's okay, buddy. That is." I gently took his hand and showed him another car that he likes. I told him, "Let's try this one instead." And he calmed down pretty quickly after that.
Wow, that is really a supportive response, Marcus. You stayed calm, connected with him like right away, and use your voice, like very calm voice, to reassure him and give him such a clear alternative choice. And those are exactly the kinds of strategies that help young children feel safe and understood. And they also shows how strong your relationship with him is, and he settles because he trusts you. And thank you for sharing that example. It does help me understand how well you support Jaden during challenging moments. Another question is, have preschool educators mentioned anything about how Jaden enjoys group activities or like transitions between routines?
They said he stays near and around the group, but doesn't really join. And he follows the routine, but needs extra support for group time.
Mm. Does that sound similar to what you've seen at home? Like, for example, during meals, bath time, or bedtime routines?
Yes, and he usually follows the routine at home, depending on his mood. For dinner, we normally have dinner at 7 p.m. If I guide him to the table, he will sit down. He might not eat right away, and sometimes he gets up and walks away. But when I bring him back, he sits again. He will
Nice.
stay seated until he finishes his meal. And if it's something he really likes, like a cookie, he will finish it happily. But vegetables, no, he won't stay down for that. Once he finishes the food he likes, he's done and leaves the table.
Thank you, Marcus. That gives a really clear picture of how he manages routines at home. And it sounds like he does well when the expectations are consistent and you gently just guide him back. That's wonderful. And it is great. And he's also just like he's willing to stay seated long enough to finish the food he enjoys. And that shows he can follow routines with support, especially when the environment feels predictable for him. And building on that, I like to understand how transitions look in different settings as well. How has Jaden been handling the end of the day transition? For example, at childcare center, when you pick him up, did the educator give you any information or share anything with you by any chance?
He's clearly worn out.
Mm.
His teacher told me he goes to the wall where they keep the family pictures. He points at our house photo to show he wants to go home. That he also pulls toys off the shelves and tosses toys over, they said. And the teacher told me he scratched another child once when he was upset. When we get home, he heads straight to his tent. That's his safe place.
Mm. That really shows how much he needs that quiet and grounding space, I think. So when he's overwhelmed, like if he tosses toys or pulls or scratches, like what helps him feel more regulated according to your experience with him?
At home, we usually lower our voices right away.
That's
Talking
nice.
softly helps him. And the deep prayer works too. I will wrap a blanket around him like a burrito and give him something predictable, like lining up his cars helps him set.
That's beautiful to hear. And how is the communication and social with childcare? Do you get a chance to talk to the educators by any chance, like as a daily routine, or sometimes they will share with you?
Yes and no. One teacher is really good. She gives details, but sometimes I feel like they downplay things, like the scratching or pushing. And I only found out about the house photo pointing because she mentioned it casually.
Mm, that sounds a little bit tough, but are there any family members or supports that help you or support you?
And yes, my mom is the biggest help. She watches him twice a week and teaches him little routines. My mom also helps with errands when we fall behind. We don't have many community supports yet.
Mm. Oh, it seems like your mom is the greatest supportive strength for you. I hope that, could help you with Jaden's routine and let you and your life feel easier. And are there any parts of the system that like for you to feel hard to navigate?
Yeah, the medical system moves slow. So getting referrals takes months and there's so much paperwork. Sometimes we don't even know what program we're supposed to call.
I hear you. I was like to thank you for being so open about that, Marcus. I know it's hard to share, in Jaden's situation, but I can see how much effort you and your family have put in just to access the supports Jaden deserves. Before we move on, I want to check in with you on a more personal level, if it is okay with you. So, what has been the most challenging part of this journey for you, if you're comfortable to share?
Sure. And uncertainty um, about not knowing what he will need in the future, and feeling like we are always waiting for answers, waiting for help, waiting for phone calls that don't come.
And then, what helps you to get through the harder days?
Seeing him laugh, going for walks as
Oh,
well,
okay.
and also talking to my wife at night after he's asleep, and sometimes just reminding myself that he's trying his best.
Totally, totally. So thank you for sharing that, Marcus. This is so clear how deeply you and your wife care for Jaden, 100%, and how much strength it takes to stay grounded, especially with everything you've had navigate to get him support he deserves, and the way you both hold on to the small moments, his laughter, and your family walks, and the quiet time you share at night shows such resilience. And think about everything you've already worked through. I'd love to shift toward the future. As you look ahead, what hopes or goals do you have for Jaden in the coming year?
Mm, I hope he talks more, just enough to tell us what he needs. And I hope he feels safer with other kids and I can join group play even a little. And yeah, sure. I hope mornings get easier for him.
I hear you. I hear you. So, what would the ideal kind of support look like for your family and Jaden?
Uh, I will say a speech therapist can come to the daycare and teach the teachers what works for him, and someone to coach us at home so we are using the same strategies.
I see, Marcus. Actually, I already see you and your wife are doing your best to support Jaden so far. I see the picture when he gets upset, you get closer to him, to his level, and use your calm voice to, calm him down. And you've given me such a clear picture of Jaden, his strength, his routines, the things that help him feel safe, and the challenges your family is carrying. And Marcus, before we finish, I'd like to share a quick summary of what I heard today, just to make sure one, I capture your family story accurately. Two, I want you feel how strong you are and your family is. So please feel free to correct me if or add anything. This is your family's narrative, and I want to be sure I'm representing it with respect. Does this sound okay for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I heard is that your family has a lot of love and patience and resilience. Mornings can be challenging for Jaden, for sure, especially with noise, bright lights, and transitions. But you and your wife moved very slowly with him and follow his cues and created as much calm as you can. And that shows such strong attunement for his needs. Wonderful. Cheer. And you described Jaden as sweet and funny and sensitive and incredibly observant. His strength really shines through, and his attention to detail, his determination when lining up his cars, and how he learns deeply through sensory play like water, dirt, and sand. And those hands-on experiences really help regulate his body and emotions. And also, I heard that he communicates using a mix of pointing, taking your hand, and using some like emerging words, especially during calm routines or when he's with your mom and you and your wife. And you told me he's becoming more vocal, like through songs and repetition, and which shows how responsive he is to familiar people and predictable routines. And you talked about the childcare experience and how at the end of the day when he's tired, he points to the family photo to show he wants to go home. And once he's home and he goes straight to his tent for a quiet time, and I hear how it turned in his to his own sensory needs. And plus, you also mentioned how helps when he feels overwhelmed, like so soft voice, deep pressure, his blanket, his tent, and also predictable activities. And the way your family responds so consistently is really a strength. And you shared openly about the challenges navigating services, especially the long wait list for early intervention, the slow pace of medical referrals, and the uncertainty that comes with not knowing when support will arrive. And you've also had positive communication with one of the educators from childcare and the support from your mom and your wife, which has been meaningful. And emotionally, you've cared a lot. The uncertainty has been hardest, but you told me that Jaden's laughter and your evening routines with your wife and your family walks help you to, go like through the tougher days, right? So the resilience really stood out to me. And my understanding of your hope is that maybe you want Jaden to develop more communication and feel safer around other children and have easier mornings. And you would value support that includes both home and childcare collaboration, where everyone uses the same strategies so Jaden feels supported in all places. So Marcus, did I capture that all accurately? Is there anything you would like me to add or correct? Because your voice really matters here.
Wow, that was beautifully said. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you. I really want to thank you for everything you shared today. And it is clear how deeply you care for Jaden and for sure, and how much intentional effort you and your wife put in understanding him, supporting him, and celebrating who he is. His strength, his curiosity, his sensory awareness, his determination, and that wonderful sense of humor you mentioned are so strongly rooted in the supportive environment you've created for him. And you're navigating a complex system and you're doing it with patience, persistence, and so much love. And Jaden's growing because he has family that sees him, advocates for him, and responds to him with compassion. And thank you again for trusting me with your story today. If anything comes to mind afterwards, if you like to add the narrative, please feel welcome to reach out. I truly appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Good night.
Bye bye.